This is my audience for today.
Maureen.
Mark.
Elaine.
Okay, so for my topic today is again about abortion. This time I'm going to persuade, and I'm going to persuade my audience that adoption is a far better solution than abortion. My central idea for this speech is that many expecting mothers that want an abortion don't consider the lives of their unborn baby, which is the problem, but that can be solved by easily having that baby and putting it up for adoption. So first I'm going to start off with a quote from Ronald Reagan. As he said, "I've noticed that everyone who is for abortion has already been born. So why must those who are given the opportunity to live a life be the ones to decide to take another's life away? How often do we or other people get upset when we see a little baby out in public? Well, we don't, because we all light up when we see a baby because they are so cute, and we see the innocence within them." So in my speech, I will persuade you about the problem of abortion in America, and then that adoption is a far better solution. So there is a huge problem with expecting mothers that think abortion is acceptable. The problem with mothers getting abortions is the fact that it's giving other women the idea that it is okay to kill an innocent unborn baby. If you remember from my last speech, there was a study in a Pro versus Con article that stated, from Roe v. Wade in 1973 through 2011, nearly 53 million legal abortions were performed in the United States. That's an average of about 1.4 million abortions per year. In a Pro-Life Across America's article, it stated that 18 days from conception, the heart begins to beat with the baby's own blood. At this point, the baby is alive and a separate human being from that of the mother. It's not just a group of cells from what other people think. A baby develops many features in just the first trimester that I stated in my last speech, and its life has begun in just the first week. So to get an abortion, it's just taking its life away and killing the human being. There is a solution for mothers that are thinking about having an abortion. That solution is adoption. Adoption is a better option if you don't want to keep the child that you are carrying. In the United States, there are approximately 2 million fertile couples wanting to adopt, many times regardless of the child's medical problems such as Down syndrome or if they are terminally ill. That means that between 1989 and 1995, 1.7% of children born to never married white women were placed for adoption, compared to 19.3% before 1973. In the Youth Voices article, it stated that abortions can result into a risk of getting ill, physical damage, stopping you from having a child again, or even death. So not only will the baby die, but the mother will as well. When we look at a child, we realize that they still have their whole life ahead of them. We see that they have time to grow up, which is walking, talking, they can be part of our education system, and many more. So many pro-life advocates look at abortion by thinking, what could the child have done for our society if it were still alive today? But we will never know. So of those 53 million abortions that were performed between 1973 and 2011, one of those could have found the cure to cancer or maybe even Alzheimer's. So abortion reduces the chance for those children that could have done positive things to the world, but those children have to pay the price for the mother's irresponsible choices. As I said in my last speech, a quote that was, "The legalization of abortion sends a message that human life has little value." That simply shows that children's lives do not mean as much as the mother's. All life should be respected. And then now I'm going to show you a video from Melissa Oden, who is an abortion survivor.
Thank you so much for your time this morning, Mr. Chairman and representatives. 327,653. This is the number of abortions that Planned Parenthood's 2014 fiscal report lists as being completed that year. Based on these numbers, 897 children will lose their lives to an abortion completed by Planned Parenthood each and every day. Why do I find this horrific? Because I actually have a lot in common with them. I was meant to be one of them. I should have been just another statistic. But by the grace of God, I am more than a statistic. I come here to you today as a wife, a mother, a daughter, a sister, a master's level prepared social worker, and yes, as an abortion survivor. From a botched abortion to the dreaded complication, a child who lives, I've been called just about everything that you can imagine. But if you want to turn your attention up to the screen, as you can see in my medical records from 1977, kind of right there in the middle, saline infusion for an abortion was done, but was unsuccessful. And at other times throughout my medical complication of my birth mother's pregnancy was a saline infusion abortion. You could certainly say that saline infusion complicated the pregnancy. It has taken years to unravel the secrets surrounding my survival, to have contact with my biological family, and even medical professionals that cared for me. And although there are still unanswered questions, what I do know is that my life was intended to be ended by that abortion. And even after I survived, my life was in jeopardy. You wouldn't know it by looking at me today, but in August of 1977, I also survived a saline infusion abortion. And as Gianna shared, that saline infusion abortion involves injecting a toxic salt solution into the amniotic fluid surrounding the preborn child. The intent of that toxic salt solution is to scald the child to death from the outside in. For days I soaked in that toxic salt solution, and on the 5th day of the procedure, my biological mother, who was a 19-year-old college student, delivered me after her labor was induced. I should have been delivered dead that day, as a successful abortion. In 2013, I learned through contact with my biological mother's family that not only was this abortion forced upon her against her will at the age of 19, but also that it was my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, a nurse, who delivered me in this final step of the abortion procedure at St. Luke's Hospital in Sioux City, Iowa. Unfortunately, I also learned that when my grandmother realized that the abortion had not succeeded in ending my life, she demanded that I be left to die. I may never know how exactly 2 nurses who were on staff that day found out about me, but what I do know is that their willingness to fight for medical care to be provided to me ultimately sustained my life. And I know where children like me were left to die at St. Luke's Hospital. I met a nurse there who delivered a child much like me in 1976. She delivered a little boy after a failed saline infusion abortion, but she followed her superior's orders, and she placed him there in a utility closet in a bucket of formaldehyde to be picked up later as medical waste after he was left there to die alone. A bucket of formaldehyde in a utility closet was meant to be my fate after I survived that abortion attempt. I weighed a little less than 3 pounds when I survived. I suffered from jaundice, severe respiratory problems, and seizures for an extended period of time. And one of the first notations in my medical records by a doctor after I survived is that I looked like I was about 31 weeks gestational age when I was delivered. Despite the miracle of my survival, the doctor's prognosis for my life was very poor initially. My adoptive parents were told that I would suffer from multiple disabilities throughout my life. Yet here I am today, perfectly healthy.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So, with more knowledge about abortion between my 2 speeches, women could make better decisions about their pregnancies. Many people in the United States do not educate themselves enough about this issue. If they knew what happened at those clinics, I bet there would be more people for pro-life. All children are special, and we need to let them grow up and give them a chance to experience life. And with a problem-solution situation like this, I think many people can consider the process of adoption if conflicted with what to do with their baby. So I hope you enjoyed my speech, and I'll let you know my audience is still here.